In the ever-evolving world of the NBA, where narratives shift as quickly as a fast break, some battles don't make the headlines the way they should. Everyone loves talking about LeBron versus Steph, Giannis versus Embiid, or Luka versus Tatum. But beneath the noise of the marquee names lies a quieter, more intriguing clash. One between two players who often live in the shadows of bigger stars but are, in their own right, shaping the league's future. Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics and Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans. On paper, they may not seem like rivals. They don't face each other in the same conference often, nor do they dominate the conversation the way perennial MVP candidates do. Yet, when you break it down, their careers and skill sets have placed them on a collision course, two silent superstars fighting for recognition, respect, and the right to be called the real face of the NBA's next tier of greatness. Jaylen Brown, drafted 3rd overall by Boston in 2016, entered the league as a raw athlete with an inconsistent jumper and questions about whether his game would truly translate. Many labeled him a project, someone who might carve out a niche but never ascend to stardom. But fast forward 8 seasons, and Brown is no longer the apprentice. He's an NBA champion, a two-way force, and one half of one of the league's most dominant duos, alongside Jason Tatum. His game has been refined year after year. He's developed into a lethal mid-range shooter, a powerful slasher who can finish through contact, and one of the league's toughest perimeter defenders. His averages last season tell the story: over 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, all while guarding some of the toughest assignments night in and night out. Brown has matured into the kind of player coaches dream of: reliable, disciplined, and relentless. On the other side, Brandon Ingram's path has been equally fascinating, but very different. Drafted 2nd overall in 2016, just a spot ahead of Brown, Ingram entered the league draped in comparisons to Kevin Durant. The wiry frame, the smooth jumper, the effortless scoring touch, it all looked like the blueprint of the next generational scorer. But his time with the Lakers was turbulent, caught in the constant swirl of trade rumors until he was eventually shipped to New Orleans in the Anthony Davis blockbuster. For many players, being traded early in a career could dent confidence. For Ingram, it lit a fire. By 2020, he was an all-star. In the years since, he's averaged around 24 points per game, proving himself as one of the league's most consistent and versatile scorers. Unlike Brown, who thrives in Boston's team-first structured environment, Ingram has had to carry the weight of being the guy in New Orleans, particularly when Zion Williamson has been sidelined. He's been the Pelicans' stabilizer, the player defenses key on, and the one his teammates look to when the game slows down and someone needs to deliver. What makes this comparison so intriguing is not just their stats, but their contrasting contexts. Brown operates in a system designed for winning: Boston's storied franchise, stacked roster, and culture of championships. He doesn't have to shoulder the burden alone, but that doesn't mean his role is diminished. In fact, the beauty of Brown's greatness is how he thrives despite playing next to another superstar. It takes humility and discipline to consistently produce while sharing the spotlight. Ingram, on the other hand, plays in a small-market franchise that rarely gets national attention. He doesn't share the floor with another top 10 player like Brown does with Tatum. Instead, he carries the scoring load, often with defenses collapsing on him, and still finds ways to put up elite numbers. One could argue that Brown is more battle-tested in high-pressure playoff runs, while Ingram has shown what it means to be the primary option night after night. Statistically, their games reveal the nuances of their rivalry. Brown shoots a higher percentage from the field overall, thanks to his ability to finish inside and his strength around the rim. Ingram, meanwhile, thrives in the mid-range, and as a free-flowing scorer, with one of the smoothest shooting forms in the league. Brown is the superior defender. His lateral quickness, strength, and focus make him one of the NBA's premier wing stoppers. Ingram, though not elite defensively, has improved steadily, using his length to contest shots and disrupt passing lanes. When it comes to playmaking, Ingram has the edge. His vision and passing ability are often underrated, averaging nearly 5 assists per game in recent seasons, while Brown hovers closer to 3. The trade-off is fascinating. Brown is the more complete two-way player, while Ingram is the purer offensive weapon. And then there's the question of legacy. Jaylen Brown has already achieved what Ingram still chases, a championship. That ring puts him in rare company. And it's not just a token achievement. He was instrumental in Boston's run, delivering clutch performances and proving he could be trusted on the biggest stage. Ingram, however, still has time. At just 27 years old, he's entering his prime. And if New Orleans can build a healthy and cohesive roster, Ingram has the talent to lead deep playoff runs. The question is whether the Pelicans can provide him the same stage that Boston has given Brown. Beyond the stats and accolades lies the psychology of these two stars. Brown is vocal about social justice issues, education, and leadership beyond basketball. His presence extends beyond the court, and he's often praised for his intellect and forward-thinking mindset. Ingram, in contrast, is quieter, more reserved, and lets his game speak for him. The contrast is striking. One uses his platform boldly, while the other remains enigmatic, almost mysterious. And yet, both approaches work, because in the end, the NBA thrives on diversity of personalities as much as diversity of playing styles. So who's the better player? That's where the debate gets spicy. If you want the ultimate two-way competitor, the player you can plug into any team and instantly elevate them on both ends of the court, the answer is Jaylen Brown. His defense, his championship experience, and his ability to produce consistently in high-stakes games make him invaluable. But if you want a go-to scorer, someone who can get you a bucket in any situation, who has the grace and smoothness to drop 40 points on any given night, then Brandon Ingram might be your pick. The truth is, both players reflect two sides of the same coin. Talent forged in different environments, shaped by different challenges, but ultimately arriving at the same destination. The upper tier of NBA stars who don't always get the credit they deserve. As the 2025-26 season approaches, this silent rivalry will only grow more fascinating. Brown will look to cement his legacy by adding another ring and silencing critics who say he's just the second option to Tatum. Ingram will aim to lead New Orleans deeper into the postseason and prove that his scoring brilliance can translate into winning at the highest level. Their paths may diverge, but the comparison will remain. Two stars drafted just to pick apart, now carrying the weight of expectation, each trying to carve out his place in history. And perhaps that's what makes this rivalry so compelling. It's not fueled by trash talk or heated playoff series. It's fueled by something quieter, deeper, the desire for recognition in a league that often overlooks those who aren't constantly in the spotlight. Jaylen Brown and Brandon Ingram may not be the loudest names in the NBA, but they are, without a doubt, two of its most vital. And when their careers are finished, we may look back at this era and realize that the silent superstar showdown was one of the defining rivalries of a generation. So here's the question for you. When you think of the NBA's next great wave of talent, whose name comes first, Jaylen Brown or Brandon Ingram? The relentless champion in the making or the smooth scorer waiting to explode on the biggest stage? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of the NBA's hidden rivalries and stories that deserve the spotlight.